Hi YouTube, in the last episode we discussed how to install Flowbyte onto our Laravel application. Now that's done, we're going to move on and we're going to go ahead and create our interface. So remember, we're building a ticket application where user can create a ticket. So we need two routes. The first route is going to be responsible for returning the page where the user has a home screen, and the second is going to be form where they can create their actual ticket. So to do that, let's go ahead and get rid of these two routes and make sure you delete the views that come with these routes. So let's delete the welcome.blade file that comes by default. And I also actually already deleted the other file, the flowbyte.blade file. You can also delete that and make sure you keep the app.blade.php file because we're going to need it in a bit. So in here, let's create a new route. And route, we're going to call this class, and the method is going to be the method that the user is going to use to access this route. So if it's a normal application route, we're just going to do a get route. When we're submitting forms, we're going to use the post route. So in here, we're going to create a get route, and the route name is going to be slash the route URL, and in here we're going to add an array, and we're going to create a new controller. We're just going to mention the controller that we're going to use. We're going to use the app controller, then just specify the class and the method that we're going to call inside that controller. Now we can give this guy a name, so that we can give this route a name. We're going to call it the index route. Go ahead and save this file. So now we've got an app controller where we're going to call the index function. So come here and we're going to go ahead and create a new file inside the controllers file. Make sure you're inside the controllers folder, and we're going to call it app controller.php. Now we're going to start up PHP by adding the PHP tag. And in here we're going to define the namespace, which is going to be app http controllers, the folder that you're inside of. And we're gonna use the request. Actually, we don't need it right now. And let's define the class. We're gonna define this app controller. We're gonna extend the controller file that's right there. And we're gonna create an index function that is going to return our index.blade.php file. So we're gonna go ahead and save this. You're gonna notice that when we hit the route now, it's gonna return an error. So let me go to the index route. It's going to return an error. That's because we have to import this controller inside the web.php file. So let's do that. Use app controller. So now the route knows where the app controller is located. We're getting a new error now which says that the view index is not found. So let's go ahead and create a new view inside the views folder. We're going to create a new file called index.blade.php, and there we go, that issue has been fixed. Okay, in here we're gonna extend the app that we made, app wrapper, and then we're gonna define the section called content. And we're gonna do end section. Okay, there we go. So now if we refresh, it should be working. And let's go ahead and find a nice header for our application. So to do that, we can come here, and Flowbyte actually has something called blocks. Let me see if I can find that. I have to make my screen a little bit bigger. Let's click on the blocks. And inside the blocks, we're going to go ahead and select the section box. So a majority of these components are paid, but luckily the first two in here are free. So we can just come here, we're gonna click on show code, and we can click on copy the code, and then we're gonna go ahead and paste that inside of here, inside of our index, inside the content. Go ahead and save it. Now make sure that you have npm run dev running inside the terminal. You can see that with this log over here. If that's not running, it's not going to compile the assets. So as you can see, it's been installed, but it's looking a bit different because we're currently on white mode. Let's go ahead and switch on dark mode. So you can come to the tailwind.config.js file and you can see the various options that we have available here. Let's first set our primary colors. To do that, just copy this and we're going to go ahead and open our tailwind config.js. We're going to come inside the extend and we're just going to paste in our primary colors like that. Go ahead and save the file. Actually, we need to remove this. And now let's also add the dark mode. To do that, just add a new line here. Dark mode is going to be a class. So you have two options basically. You have the option class or you have the option media. We're actually going to be using media because media checks the user's options, what they have set in their PC. So for example, in my PC I've set the preferences to dark mode, so it's going to choose dark mode for me. But if someone else with their preference set to light mode is visiting your app, they're going to see light mode. So let's go ahead and set it to media, but if you want to force dark, just change this to class. Once we have that, we can come here and as you can see, it's in dark mode. But there's this ugly white patch over here. Now let's also go ahead and add a navigation bar. To do that, we're going to come here, we're going to go to the docs and we're going to find the component called navbar. There we go. And just look for whatever navbar you think is nice. Just go ahead and copy that one. I think I quite like this one, but let me see if there's anything else. So I'm gonna go with this one. Go ahead and click on copy and we're gonna go to the app.blade.php file and we're gonna go ahead and copy paste our navigation bar like that. Just go back and in here let's actually add a container, because if we save this it's not going to be looking very pretty. We're going to create a new container, do the dot and then you write down container, then you hit tab and it's automatically going to create that class for us. Inside we're going to add a mx auto. We're going to bring this inside of this, and if we hit save, it's been made a bit thinner as you can see, and we're actually going to add a margin bottom of 6. Okay, there we go. So let's fix this white patch. Come to your body tag. We're going to add a new class. Inside this class, in the light mode, we want to return a white background. So add bg white, but when it's dark mode, we're going to do a black background. We can do bg gray 900. Go ahead and save this. And as you can see, it has a proper background now. Let's get rid of these components. So if we go back to our index.blade file, and we're just going to remove this featured in part. It's going to be this div. Okay, there we go. That looks much better now. And let's also get rid of this alert, or actually we can keep it. And in here we can add our button like create ticket. Okay, that says create ticket now, and in here we can do view tickets. So this button is going to take the user to create a ticket, and here they can view their tickets. Let's get rid of that camera because that doesn't make much sense. So just remove this SVG tag. And if we hit save, that's going to look like that. And let's change up the title. Welcome to our tickets application. Or, oh my bad, that's actually the alert. We are going to change the header. Welcome to our support ticket department. Okay, and then I'm just gonna leave the other text. Let's remove this support department. Let's just do support department. That looks a bit nicer. Okay, now we have this, and as you can see, we've got the nav bar, and it works on smaller screens too, which is quite nice. Now let's go ahead and create the other interface. Go to your app web.php file, and let's go ahead and copy this. And we're gonna add a new page where the user can create a ticket. So let's actually call it tickets create, and we're gonna call this tickets.create. There we go. Go ahead and save this. Go to our controller, and we're gonna add a new method called create. Copilot already knows that I'm gonna add that method, so it already suggests that. So we're gonna add it right there, and it's gonna return the tickets.create blade file. So now we need to create it inside our views folder. Come down here, create a tickets folder. And let's go ahead and create a create.blade.php file. And we're gonna do a similar thing where we're gonna extend the layout, and here we're gonna add a form where the user is able to create their form. Now, another thing that we added in the last video is that the title is dynamically set. So as you can see, we'll check if the title is set. If it's not, it's always gonna return tickets. To fix that, we're gonna go to the index file, and we're gonna add an array right here. We're gonna do title home. So this way we can give each route or each view its own title. As you can see, the title has been changed, and over here we're gonna add a new title, create ticket. Okay, there we go. Now if we go to the browser, we go to tickets/create. This is gonna be tickets/create, and I actually have to get rid of this. I wonder why my browser does that. Okay, it's just gonna return an empty shell file. So here we're gonna create our form where the user can submit their ticket. To do that, come here to Flowbyte. We're gonna go here, and here you can find a bunch of different components that you might ever need. And we are looking for the input component, and this looks a lot like it. So we're gonna go ahead and copy this and go ahead and paste it in there. If we save it, as you can see, our page is looking like this now. Now let's go ahead and get rid of the unnecessary inputs, because we don't need a password input. We're creating a ticket. What else do we not need? The email input can be there, and then we're also gonna go ahead and get rid of a bunch of other things. We're just gonna change it to name. Come all the way here, and over here we're gonna do name. And let's go ahead and update the label to name. Okay, there we go. So the user can add their name, and then they can add their email address and submit the form. It's not going to do anything now because we have to create the form. But before we do that, let's actually add a text area where they can actually write down their ticket. So we're going to come here, and we're going to look for the text area. There we go. And this looks quite nice. We're going to add a new div with margin bottom of 6, and we're going to go ahead and paste it in there. Save it, and as you can see, we've got our form. So the user can enter their name, email address, and their message, and then they can go ahead and submit their form. Let me just zoom out of this a little bit like that. And yeah, so that's basically it for this video. We created a simple interface. Let's actually add a button so the users from the home page can go to the tickets page more easily when they press this button. So let's see if we have a name defined. So we do have a name, tickets.create, and go to your index file. And this button, the create ticket button, we're going to add something to this. We're going to add these two curly brackets, which is going to tell Blade to run PHP, and in here we're going to do route, and then we're going to add the name of the route, which is tickets.create. Save it. Now if we click on create ticket, it's going to take us to this page where the user can fill in their name, email address, and their message, and they can submit it, and that's how we're going to create tickets. So that's pretty much it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can create forms in Laravel and how you can handle the data. And we're also going to be looking at how we can store the data inside a database. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.